This is how it is going to go. We are going to have 7 days straight where we have picks that you can make with your chance to be BetTV's Betting Extraordinaire for a chance to win $25,000. If you get the first 3 questions right over the course of 3 days, you're going to win $250. If you get to day 5, you're going to win $2,500. And if you get through day 7, a week straight of correct picks, we're going to give you $25,000. No joke.
That's right, $25,000. And Jim from Philadelphia, the lone contestant remaining, day 3 of Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. Now, today, got DMs from him last night. Mid-second quarter, we had to pick a total in the football games. He used a lifeline. Asked the pro, me. I said under in the Miami-Virginia game is the closest to a worthwhile play. It was 62.5. It was 9-0 mid-second quarter, and I should just find it. Why not? We're waiting for him to call in. He's probably prepping. I told him it will be a KC-Philly game. He is from Philadelphia. Maybe that helps him. Maybe it hurts him. I'm not sure. But he, all capitals letters, he says, listen to Preston, Jim, with the shake my head, smack of the face emoji, whatever. I said, you can still get the W in the NFL, which he did. He went under 46 in the NFL, and it landed 45. So he's in business. He's still alive, although he used a lifeline that he didn't end up actually using. So he's stuck with, if he has one more, it's the Ask the Twitter poll audience. So good luck with that. Is he calling right now? Quan did a sweet move to get his headset on, like, either the president or it's Jim. We think it's Jim. It's got to be Jim. Our friend Jim. It's not Jim? I don't think it is. All right, Jim, look. If everyone else that's calling in doesn't know, it's day 3, which means Jim is the only one left. He's the only one that's won the first 2 days. We start with like 15 to 20 contestants on day 1. When Jim loses, day 1 resets. So Monday, if Jim doesn't win this weekend, you'll be back. I think someone that called in, Quant's explaining it to him now. But day 1 will reset on Monday. If Jim wins, then it's day 4. He pockets $250, and he's only a few picks away from the $25,000. So, is he ready? We can push him through. We'll just get right to it. And then I'll share my thoughts at the end, but he doesn't get to hear mine this time until after. Jim, how are you doing? I know you were sweating that pretty hard last night.
I'm all right. Wait, I didn't. Did you tell me that it was going to be KC Philly? I didn't see it. If you did,
I did at the end of last Rachita. I threw it in there, just in case you were listening and then you had a few extra minutes.
It would have been an extra 5 minutes.
Yes, that was the thinking. It's okay, but that's what you get for not listening to my other show. I'm just kidding, man. I don't care at all. He calls in pretty regularly, so it's all good. Look, it's day 3. It is for at least $250, so it gets a little harder. Usually day 1, we give you a slight favorite. Day 2 is usually, like in this case last night, it was pick a total. That's what you're looking at. It's about a 50-50 proposition versus the market. This one's a little bit different. So it's Eagles. It's KC. I think it's interesting. One, you're a Philadelphia guy. So it's your home team playing at home against Mahomes off a loss and a Chiefs team that is under 500 somehow. So here we are. And I believe they still are number 1 in success rate in the NFL offensively, and they're 1-2. Which quarter do the Eagles score the most points in the game on Sunday? Don't worry about KC. We're just looking at the Eagles. Which is the quarter that they score the most points? Is it KC that comes out hot off the loss? Mahomes blasting Philly from the get-go? Do KC do their, slow, let's turn it on in the second half thing, and the Eagles are better early? I'm not sure what the game script will be like. That's for you to decide. But the 4 options, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, the tie goes with first quarter. Historically, there are fewer points scored on average in an NFL game in the first quarter than there are in the third, and then there are in the second, and then the fourth. There's just more points in second and fourth quarters. So that's kind of the mini breakdown there and the thesis of the question. Any questions for you, or do you need a minute to kind of think it through?
I'm going to try to think it through, play the game in my head.
What do you expect then from Philadelphia? What's the word out there?
Well, So last week, Philly's kind of like a, the GM towards, hired the coach strictly for, the analytics background. Like, that game drove me nuts last week because, it was almost like they forced themselves to throw when they're such a good running team. I think people, get misconstrued, like, we're not, the fans aren't saying to run, it's a passing league. So we're not saying to run the ball all game, but it's like you had an edge in the run game, but, the data told you should just throw it. And I think he's going to, with KC's defense, he's going to have to run it more, especially after, they set like a record for, it was like the least amount of running back carries in the last 15 years or something. And that
it was
Monday
3
night
total.
game.
I think Miles Sanders had 2. Is it Gainwell as the backup? He had 1. And Jalen Hurts rushed, I think, 8 or 9 times. But for running back carries, you're right. Yeah, there was only 3 total.
Yeah. See, it's the Eagles thing's messing me up, like having to pick. Because, I know, KC's going to come out firing, especially on the road. Like, on the road, it'll be shotgun. They're not running the ball once, but they have Patrick Mahomes a little different.
Yes. Let me I want to throw something at you. You said, and I think you're generally right, where Philadelphia has to realize, all right, we got to establish some sort of run, especially if that's where one of our advantages lies. And KC, of 32 teams so far this year, 31st in the NFL in success rate against the rush. And they've never really been very good, even when they were, going to Super Bowls or winning a Super Bowl the last few years. They've just always had an inefficiency against the run as a defense. So you would hope that Philadelphia, you're right, they're using numbers, guys, analytics, you're right. Generally, throwing is better than running. Maybe running against one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL is also analytically savvy, and keeping the ball out of Patrick Mahomes and holding on to the ball in possession is also savvy. I'm not always just straight, 100% like the numbers say this, because there's nuance to it. And in this case, I agree with you, man. I think Philadelphia needs to rush the ball more. Now, I don't know if that means they can stop Mahomes out of the gate, who has a fire lit under his you-know-what. So, anyways, just wanted to kind of throw more thoughts out while you considered the question. But if you're ready, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and if there's a tie, it'll go to the first quarter option there, A.
I'm trying to think. The other thing that's got me worried is, he just seen the Chargers only throw and win last week. So he might think he can do that, the coach.
That's interesting. Do you know what the Chargers numbers were? I don't remember. I'm going to look now.
Well, Staley's a very analytically driven guy. I know that they didn't run the ball much against.
It was still a total of 22 rushes, 18 with running backs. Herbert ran 4 times. It wasn't anywhere near what Philly did. So, to an extent, you're right, though. But they still ran 18 times with their running backs and receivers.
One more question: what's the over/under? I actually have no idea. I know the
spread, game,
but...
unless it's moved, it's 54.5. Yeah, mostly 54.5, and there's some 54s. So trending, I guess, a little down from there.
And ties with the first.
Yeah, because first quarter is generally the fewest points scored in games. Doesn't matter who, either side, KC or Philly. I think the first quarter line is 10, and the game is 54.5. So just for some context.
I'm trying to think. So I just got a feeling, I don't know, I'm trying to play games in my head, but, if they're trailing early, they might get this little fire, come out in the second half, kind of dominate the ball. It's kind of what they did in the Cowboys game. So I'm in between A and C.
Okay.
I don't think Ertz is built for, a comeback trail in the fourth quarter. I don't really think he scares anybody right now. I'm going with C.
Okay, third quarter. So essentially the read here is Mahomes and Casey take the lead early, 1 and 2. They're coming off the loss. They're going to be lively. They're going to be ready. Third quarter, hopefully Eagles get the ball first in your sake. We don't know. It all comes down to the coin toss anyway, which is part of the fun of this question. And that they have some success against a Casey defense that maybe just isn't very good, which generally they don't grade out to be. So, all right, we'll lock them in for C. I appreciate you, Jim. Enjoy your weekend, and we will hopefully be talking to you on Monday for day 4.
All right, guys. See you.
Take care. So, before I kind of break this down a little bit more, Quan, what would you pick?
Were
you singing?
No.
Yeah. That's what I heard when you
Circle
said
of
that.
life. Yeah, I mean,
don't clip that, please.
If we're looking at it and, we're thinking bounce back Chiefs game, they come out on fire. The Eagles, their game plan in the first quarter, probably going to try to keep pace. Second quarter, you only hope you're getting the ball before halftime, so you got to get a score before on 2-minute drill. Third quarter, you make adjustments. Fourth quarter, you get garbage points.
That's why, now I'll jump in. Quan's kind of just, you've played enough.
Yeah.
And followed enough. Look, the prices, this isn't by team, but this is just for the game in general. The price for the highest scoring quarter, I should get a little closer to the mic. First quarter, plus 750.
Yeah.
Third quarter's plus 600. So anyway, that's why I gave tie to first quarter. But second quarter is plus 165. It's like a pretty big favorite. And then fourth quarter's plus 200.
Yeah.
So like second and fourth are by a pretty big margin the best options, just blind. Now he was like thinking through game script. He was like trying to do Madden simulations in his head, he said. And he's like, oh, they're going to probably have to make a comeback third quarter. But really it's the second quarter because you're rushing against the clock to get to halftime where you see more points. And also teams just go into prevent, which I've told you plenty never works. And fourth quarter garbage time points. So the correct answer, nothing against Jim. If he had given me a lifeline, you saved the one yesterday and used it for today, I would not have let him pick A or C.
Yeah.
It's just like so far behind, I think.
There's no rush in the third quarter.
No, unless he's right and they're like down 14 and they're trying to hurry it up. But even then, you're making adjustments at halftime, and generally defense is better third quarter.
And if you're going to come out and make those adjustments, you're already saying that he's probably going to have to pass. So if it didn't work in if it didn't work in your first half game plan, it's probably, what you see, probably going to be a little bit of the same. I would go, if anything, I'm going B, just because I think they score. Do you know when they score their most points?
The Eagles specifically?
Yeah.
I could look. The sample's so small this year so far, it doesn't really matter much. But I can look real quick at what they score by quarter.
I seriously don't see them coming out on fire in the first quarter.
Do you think, hold on one sec, offense by quarter. So first quarter points per game. Holy cow, Dallas is at 12 points per first quarter. That's very interesting. So Philadelphia, if I just do a little command, they're 8th in the league. In the first quarter, they're scoring 5.7. Okay. We want second quarter. I gotta load it up each time, and then it's gonna take a minute. Everyone can hold their horses. It's Friday. You're not doing anything better in your lives. Wow, 29th in the league, only 2.7 second quarter points per second quarter so far this year.
Yeah, that's not good.
Maybe he was thinking about that. They haven't been scoring in the second quarters. Now, again, small sample, doesn't really matter much. Seattle leads, by the way, 14 points per second quarter so far. All right, so third quarter, maybe Philadelphia is making adjustments at halftime. But if you're right, and it's just like, hey, if it's not working, it's not working. It's loading. Third quarter is loading. Okay, they score 4.7, tied for 13th. So in the middle. And then you're ready for fourth quarter. My guess is that this is the highest. Yeah, 8.3, which is only 10th in the league. More teams are in that 8 to 11 point range in the fourth quarter. And I was going to say, like KC games, because they sometimes are like playing them closer. If they're the team behind, then it's like a team like the Eagles is trying to run the clock out, right? So if that's the case, Philadelphia is probably not scoring a ton. But if Philly's playing from behind and KC's already bad defense is back in prevent, then Philly's probably scooping in the fourth quarter more than the second in this case. And I'm not also sure how efficient the four-way highest scoring quarter market is. Like, people don't really bet it very often. It's a derivative prop that probably doesn't take huge limits. So my gut was, obviously it's second or fourth quarter is the right answer, but maybe fourth quarter is better in this type of situation since they are a 7-point dog at home. They're probably going to be down more often in the fourth quarter, and there's a better chance they get the garbage T, which seemingly the Chiefs always give up. If we looked at the defense and looked at how many points per quarter the Chiefs give up last year, like I'll look. Why not? What else are we doing? It's Friday. You have a kickball game to go to, but
4 hours.
Defense by quarter. Wow, Arizona's giving up 1 point per fourth quarter this year. So that explains some of their. Kansas City, third worst in the league, 12 points per fourth quarter allowed. Let's look at last year, bigger sample. I bet you it's probably not that bad, but they're similarly, bottom 6, nearly 9 points per fourth quarter.
Probably like way ahead.
So KC in the fourth, it just makes sense. They're either way ahead and they're in garbage prevent, which are going to give up the garbage TD more often than not, or they're already behind. And if they're behind late, it's because the team maybe already scored to take a lead earlier in the fourth. Like, yeah, that lines up. I think that's pretty correlated. So I think I would get a little frisky. I think I'd go fourth quarter. We'll see. You went second quarter. He went third. I went fourth. We know the lock is first quarter.
First quarter time.
Plus 750. Everyone fire it. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for those that tuned in. Thanks to Jim, and good luck this weekend. Good luck with everything else. We got Last Word Cheetah coming back to kick off next week here at Bets TV at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Good luck. Win your bets. Fade Quan on Sunday.